Okay, so today is the start of the egg hatching update and the jockey. So if we don't collect an egg in 15 seconds, it'll hatch and then a jockey will be made. I'm calling these guys jockeys. And then a jockeyless vulture will come and pick up the jockey. So we have to do special AI. I just noticed this looks like a question mark, like a Riddler question mark inside the skid animation. It's weird that there would be a skid animation for the vultures. I haven't seen that in action. But let's just let's see how, let's see how we're rendering our egg at the moment. We are rendering a quad of our egg sprite. What is egg sprite? It's a field given a quad, but this is messed up. No. Okay, so yeah, we're rendering its atlas at the egg sprite quad. Okay. So yeah, the atlas is the drawable of egg atlas, and I think that means we've got all the frames in there as is. Get joust egg atlas. Yep, we've got all 4 frames of our egg here. So just make sure I'm recording. Okay. Okay, so I guess for right now, let's just try to get the egg to hatch, right? Get the animation to hatch after 15 seconds. So I think we need a boolean called self-hatched. Starts off as false, and then we render the frame 1 of the egg if we're not hatched. So if not hatched, and it's if not self.hatched, if this very egg is not hatched, then render frame 1. But then we need egg timer. I feel like it's 15 seconds from when the egg stops moving, not from the instantiation of the egg. So I'll track our DX. So you know we're doing this. If our DX is greater than 0, meaning we have a rightward velocity, we deduct that rightward velocity until it's 0, and then if it's a leftward velocity, we deduct, or we add in a speed until it's 0. And yesterday I said we'd fix to give it less DX on the egg instantiation, but I was just playing the original and it actually kind of seemed like it was similar DX on the eggs, so I'm going to leave it for now. But I'm going to say if self DX is equal to 0, that's when we're going to start the timer. And the timer we need is a countdown to hatch. So like hatch countdown gets 15 seconds upon instantiation, and if DX is 0, that's when we say our self.hatch countdown is going to be decremented by delta time. So we'll say hatch countdown gets self.hatch countdown minus a delta time, and this is happening in our update function, so this will happen 60 times a second. And delta time is time elapsed in seconds since last frame, which is like a whatever 60 1 second divided by 60 is in seconds, I guess. So right now I'm actually going to do a hatch countdown of 3 seconds so we can just see it hatch faster, see if we've done it right. And then we need to do a viewport set, right? So we're going to say like if our hatch countdown, self.hatch countdown, is smaller than 0, then we're yeah, maybe DX isn't the way to do this, but actually I think it's okay. And I just don't like the fact that hatch countdown will continue to decrement even if we're hatched already. So that's what I was thinking of, but I guess we can also just say and self.hatch down, or self.hatch countdown is greater than 0. If it's equal to 0 or less than 0, it will not decrement our hatch countdown anymore. And then we're going to say if hatch countdown is smaller than 0, then we're going to set our hatch countdown to 0. And then we're going to say hatched gets true. So this hatched.true should get swapped from false only upon hatch countdown being smaller than 0. And that would happen as long as our egg is not moving and our hatch countdown is greater than 0. We'll decrement our hatch until it's, I guess we can say, to prevent a bug there, we would put a smaller than or equal to 0. So this line prevents us from decrementing our hatch countdown after hatching. I guess that means we can actually do this. We can say and not self-hatched. So as long as hatched is false, we decrement it, and then hatched gets true if it's smaller than 0. That works. So now, if we're hatched, we need a hatched animation. What do we need? So if we're not hatched, do that. We can say otherwise, which is if hatched, then we need to set our viewport to, actually, yeah, we need to do that in the update function here. So this is our render function, but we need to, in our update function, say something like, I'm going to put the hatch logic at the very bottom, just because it makes more sense to me. And then we're going to say, if hatched, then, and the thing is, what is the size? 8 by 8. But we should have the 1 pixel buffer at the beginning of each of these frames because of the artifacting problem. I'm going to open up our Egg Atlas and verify. We've got a pixel. Yep, we've got a pixel before each one, so they're not touching each other, so that's perfect. Do we set our viewport to 1 here somewhere? We don't. So maybe that is incorrect. We don't set our viewport anywhere. Yeah. We don't set our viewport. So that tells me we're rendering it at 0, 0, which is probably wrong. Let me see if we set our viewport. We'll do self.eggsprite :set viewport. It needs a 1, a 0, and then I think this stuff, right? Let me double check the set viewport arguments. Viewport 1, 0 with height. That's it. Okay. So in our egg, we can say we're setting our viewport to the egg's width, the egg's height. Now I'm doing this manually, setting it to 1 more pixel inwards because I want to see if the if the leftmost part of our egg is actually cut off after doing this, or if we just did something wrong in our sprite atlas. It looks okay. So see how adding the 1 on the viewport still gives a left side to our egg, so it looks like it's not cut off. Oh, it hatched. It hatched after 3 seconds, so that's good. If we were to put this at 2, we should get the egg to be cut off by 1 pixel on the left, which I'm going to test by killing a vulture that I am very capable of doing. Yes, it's cut off on the left there, see? So that tells me we do have the pixel. We were rendering it wrong before we set this viewport. The 1 here is actually the correct one. So we initialize it to a viewport of 1, and then I'm kind of tempted if we were to just change this to 1. And this is 1. Will that cut off the left side? And if so, if it cuts off the left side, then I think we can take out our set viewport, which it doesn't. So I think we leave this at 0. Okay. I was trying to see if we can get rid of this line by just doing a quad starting at 1 pixel inward, but I don't think that's the case. I'm actually curious what this is now. Let me see if we turn this off. We set this to 2. Does that cut off our egg on the left side? I would think it would. Yeah. So maybe we do just set this to 1. Okay. I think that X as 1 there does the same thing as this setting the viewport. I just don't know if it would change all of our egg sprites X by 1, in which case we wouldn't need to do the +1 for the pixel buffer. But we're gonna say self-hatched. So we need a timer, right? That we say if we're hatched, then hatch animation or something. Hatch animation gets hatch animation plus delta time, and then so this will get incremented every second. And then I'm going to say if self.hatch animation is greater than 1/3 of a second or 1/5 of a second, it's like this is going to be the time frame to increment our animation for our viewport of our eggs. So how many seconds do we want this frame to be on, and this frame to be on, this frame to be on. It should be real fast. So maybe like the whole thing should be done in 1/3 of a second. So 1/3 of 1/3 of a second is 1/10. So if it's greater than 1/10, but we need to do this backwards. So we need to say the 4th frame would have to be greater than a 0.3, and then else if we're greater than a 0.2, it'll be a frame 2, or a frame 4 rather, or 3. Jesus Christ, yeah. Else if, so this is going to be frame 4. So frame 4, this is going to be frame 3, then else if we're greater than a 0.1, then that's going to be a frame 2. We have to do it backwards like this because if we had it where we first did it, ask if it's greater than 0.1, then on frame 3, 0.3 is greater than 0.1, so it would set the incorrect viewport. So that's why we got to do it in a descending order here. So we got to set our viewport of our self.eggsprite, which is what we're rendering. And you know what? This is actually, we don't need this because we're setting the viewport here. So we can actually get rid of this. But if we're hatched, we're doing that. I'm gonna say if self.hatched anim is smaller than 0.4, then we're gonna increment it. So we don't keep incrementing that into oblivion. So it'll stop incrementing it after 0.4, but then it's checking the rate or the frame it should be on here. And we need to say self.eggsprite, which is our drawable. Yep, it's the quad of our, it's just a quad. So it's not a drawable. It's a quad. And the quad, when given the proper atlas, tells it what to draw. So we just need to assign our quad correctly. So we just need to feed in the right x's. For right now, I'm going to put 0 for these until I can deduce the actual numbers. Okay, so frame 2, it would be 1 pixel offset for the first frame, and it'd be 1 pixel offset plus another pixel offset for the second frame, plus 2 times the width of an egg. So 16 plus 2, so 18 should be frame 2. Now 18 plus a 1 offset plus another 8 would be 27. And then a 27 plus a 1 pixel offset would be 28, plus another 8 would be 36. And then if my math is right, 36 on the X plus an extra 8 to the end of the pixel, end of the frame of our atlas would give us 42. So if our width of our egg atlas is a 42, we probably did it right. Let's check egg atlas, get info. Are we at a 42? Only at 36. 8 times 8 times 4. 4 frames of 8 gives us 32. Okay, so where did I mess up? This is all wrong. Hold on. Oh, okay. So every frame is just 9. So 9 would be, oh yeah, so this would be 9. This would be 18. And this would be 27. And then 27 plus our 8 wide gives us 35, which is one more than how wide we are. I don't know. Is that right? If our viewport for frame 1 would be 1, 9 pixels in, or I think this is actually 10, meaning this would be 19 and this is 28. And the reason this is 10 is because we have to count for an 8 wide of the first frame plus the pixel leading from the first plus the pixel leading from the second. Then every subsequent frame is the 8 of the wideness of the next plus the initial pixel. Yep. So that should be right. So now we can actually, I don't think we need this. It doesn't matter to our render function if we're hatched or not because we're setting the viewport based on the hatched animation in our update function. So we also just need to give our self.hatch anim a0 upon initialization, and then we'll see if our hatch actually hatches. Yeah. Let's see. Our egg hatches after 3 seconds, and if so, we're in business. So once it stops, oh my god, that was my bad. Egg 83. Why would we crash? Egg 83. Why did we crash? Attempt to compare nil with a number. Hatched anim is not a nil, it's hatched anim. Okay. But did you see that bug? The egg kind of went to the top of the screen there. You are a beautiful vulture. Okay, guys. Okay. So once they stop, 1, 2, 3, hatch. Hatch anim, a nil value. Egg 84. We have to be consistent here, guys. Not hatch anim, hatched anim. Let's go back to hatch anim. Hatch anim, hatch anim, hatch anim, hatch anim, hatch anim. Let us see. Okay. 1, 2, 3, hatch. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Yes. Let's do this to be 5, and then we'll do. I wonder if it'll let us set a viewport of larger than our atlas. We'll say else if another is greater than 5, decrement it, and then else if self.hatch anim is smaller than a 0.4, we need to just not render. So maybe we actually say, yeah, actually, let's keep that. We'll say here, if self.hatchNM is greater than 0.4, then actually, if it's smaller than a 0.4, we render. And then when frame 5 would come up, it would actually just disappear. So let's try it. Let us kill. Okay. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, hatch and disappear. Okay. Greater than, no. If it's less than 0.4, then decrement, sorry, good. If it's less than 0.4, increment our hatch enum. If our hatch enum's greater than 0.3, so our hatch enum starts at 0, yeah. Then it should set this first, then this, then this. Then, if hatch enum is smaller than 4, render. If hatch enum is smaller than 0.4, why doesn't that work? Hatch enum is smaller than 0.4. Let me just make sure we render the hatch here. I screwed something up. Okay, here we go. That's pretty long skid, right? Yeah, we should change that. 1, 2, 3, hatch. That was fucked up. Why is that? That's what we messed up. Okay. It's like if we do an else if, we need a if self dot hatch enum is greater than 0.4, then we need to do a self dot jockey spawn gets true, and then we just need to say if not self dot jockey spawn, then we render. And then if jockey spawn's true, we will not render. So that should give us the 3 frames of animation. And we need to give ourselves this jockey spawn initialized. Let us see if we hatch and then disappear. Let us kill some beautiful vultures that I hold no grudges against. Egg self a no value on 101 in egg. A 1, Not self. What did I do here? Self.jockey spawn. Okay. That was horrible. Okay. Yeah, we need to decrease that DX. 1, 2, 3, hatch. Son of a... Compare nil with a number on 84. Nil with a number. If we're hatched, hatch gets true if hatch countdown. Nil with a number. Hatch anim is fucked up. That was my bad. When I was undoing, I went one step too far. Okay. One more try. Okay. Let us see. 1, 2, 3, hatch. Yeah, buddy. We've got hatching. Hell yeah. We've got hatching, guys. So similarly, in our vulture class, upon a player to vulture collision, we spawn an egg with inherited last X and Y. For our egg instantiation, we need to do something similar in our egg class for our jockey to inherit the last X and Y of our egg, so that we can put a jockey at the last location of our egg. I want to say egg hatching animation. Now, hatch countdown's actually 15. I'm gonna just kill some vultures and watch the eggs. We need to fix the DX before we commit as well. I just want to see the eggs hatching again. So look, once DX is 0, it'll go 1, 2, 3 and hatch. That should be 15 seconds, but for now it's 3, so we don't have to wait 15 seconds. It's looking good. See how much slide that's got? Too much DX. We need to... Wow, that's awesome. That looks great. So here, when we're doing our DX, we need to subtract it by maybe twice as much and add by maybe not twice as much. Put it in 0.003. So now that should be lesser of a DX upon an egg instantiation. It gets lesser over time. That was, oh, look at that. See, an egg just popped out of nowhere and hatched. I don't know why that happened. That's a bug we're gonna have to be able to find. I don't know why that happened at all. Like, why would it have spawned up off screen, and why would it have been at that Y? It just doesn't, or that X. Okay, yeah, the eggs stop gliding a lot sooner, and then they hatch. I don't know why it did that bug where it spawned an egg up there. I wonder how to recreate that. We like hit him in the butt with our joust, didn't we? Just like that. What the heck? Why did that drop an egg up there? So if we like... It's like we have to collect the egg right away. Oh, what the... Okay, dude, what? It's like our last X isn't getting set right when we're hitting him in the butt. Because if we hit him in the butt, oopsie. If we hit him in the butt, it spawns up there. Come on. Come on. Let me try it again, see if it is the butt hitting. It should be an easy bug to fix if that's consistent. So that's probably the problem. That was a not butt hit and it worked fine. This is going to be a butt hit. It was fine. Fuck. What? Why did it do it? Why did it spawn an egg up there? Ay, ay, ay. In what world is an egg getting a Y and an X way over there? I don't know what that bug is. Why are eggs spawning top right of screen sometimes, but kill? I don't know why. We'll have to figure that out sometime. We fixed our DX of our eggs. It's probably something to do with when we collide enemy collisions in our play state, right? Enemy collisions. And then do we do anything with an egg here? No. And it did do it under certain See, I want to say it has something to do with this. Because this is where we're assigning. Oh, no. Bro, I don't know why it would spawn up there sometimes. Why that location? Why? It's like if we had a true debugger, we can step through and really see what's going on there. That's going to be a tough bug to find, I think. Because as these things get more interconnected, it's harder to know what's happening on a frame-by-frame basis. So that's it's like a little disheartening, but also, why is it happening? You know, it's like it's a error in mistake, in a flaw in my logic somewhere. If we get diff, we can see we've got a bunch of new things, all involving our hatch animation. We've got a jockey spawn boolean and egg sprite quad now at x1 instead of 0, which fixed a bug we didn't know we had. We start off as not hatched. We need to change this hatch count down to 15 before we push this. We fixed, give ourselves a little less DX on the egg. And we do our hatch animation logic. And then we only render while we're not spawning we only render the egg when we're not spawned a jockey. As soon as we spawn a jockey, we're done rendering egg, which makes sense. Then we need a jockey class eventually that will inherit the last X and Y of this egg as soon as jockey spawn gets false, right? So like, or jockey spawn gets true. So if the hatch animation is greater than 4, we need to actually instantiate a jockey here with a last X and last Y of an egg. And then we can worry about jockey to jockey-less vulture collision. And then we got to worry about AI for our vulture-less, or our jockey-less vulture. Before we commit, I'm going to that egg timer, the hatch countdown, putting it at 15, which is about what it is in the original. Then I'm going to add everything to the staging area with a commit message saying added egg hatching, which is something I have been putting off for way too long. But we got our pterodactyl done in the meantime, so it's cool. I just pushed it to our remote repository, and then I'm calling it a day. Wasn't too long of an episode. Gosh, even that, it feels like I did 2 things and it took 40 minutes, but my whole goal is to just program 5 minutes a day, stay consistent, and I want to see those green commit messages on my GitHub. So as long as I can keep that going, I'll be really happy, and we're making huge progress in this game. It's been a wonderful treat, and I'd highly recommend building, you know, if you're interested in game stuff, go to CS50 Game Dev on YouTube and look up their Love 2D and Lua tutorial on Pong, because that's how I started. I just looked up, you know, I made Pong with them, then we did Flappy Bird, and then I started doing my own projects, and then I've been building this Joust for months, and it's like, it's hard, but it's doable. Like, we've been stepping through it one problem at a time. That's all it takes. One little step, you know, one brick at a time. Let me check the notes real quick, because we've got egg hatching. We need jockey spawn. So like we need jockey class, and then jockey inherits last X and last Y of egg. And we need to fix that egg bug, man. I don't know why that egg bug. Did we put egg bug kill? Yeah, so look, we gotta put like, this is like a bug to hunt down with exclamation marks. I really want to fix that, because I have a hard time moving forward if a blatant bug like that is just chilling. So we might be hunting that tomorrow, or we might be starting our jockey class tomorrow. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in, how much time I got, and what I'm feeling. But thanks for watching today, and I'll catch you tomorrow.